Hey, thanks for checking out the video. The reason for this video today is to share a brief piece about a home that I was in, what I noticed, what I learned, and why I'm offering it to you. Now, it's normal for a homeowner to experience deterioration in the house, just standard wear and tear, things that need fixing up, um, things that need repair. But there's some things that can start to happen in a home that are beyond normal, that are supernatural in nature, and they don't always seem like it at the point in time. And they kind of have this intention of tearing you down, of wearing you down, breaking your family apart, and ruining your life. I was in a house where I was so busy in my studies that I was out in the garage doing my studies because I needed to separate myself from the family so that I could focus. And so I'm going to say some of these things in a hindsight sort of prospect here. I realized that my wife's depression was getting out of control. The things around the house were breaking in an inordinate amount of time. Random things that shouldn't be problems are falling apart. And it seems like it's the whole intent of it is to create an amount of stress on me that's too much for me to take. Just like right after moving in, the bathtub faucet wouldn't work correctly, and things that were just fine before. Even squirrels breaking into the trash can, and this was kind of a wild one. They broke into the trash can. Okay, squirrels do stuff. They got into the garbage bag, and it caused an infestation of maggots. Well, my wife finds diatomaceous earth, and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to try to get the maggots with it. And looking back on it, I see what it was now, but I ended up in the garage and I'm fighting this very strange occurrence where maggots are crawling up and out of the trash can, like hundreds of maggots. And I'm pouring diatomaceous earth on them, and they're literally like crawling up from the sides of it and pouring out over the sides. And I had to encircle the trash can with diatomaceous earth so that the maggots wouldn't crawl out and away any further than where they were. And at the time, I didn't notice it. I was just like, oh, this is wild, and I had to win. But now that I look back, I'm like, there were a ridiculous amount of maggots trying to crawl out of there. And I think something else was going on there. There's also my son was visiting. I have a son with a previous relationship, two sons, and they were visiting, and they were playing Dance Dance Revolution on the Wii. Was it the Wii? On the Switch, sorry. They were playing Dance Dance Revolution on the Switch, and I was out in the garage doing my studies. Well, this thing happened where my oldest son got overly excited, and he ran from the living room through the dining room into the kitchen and hit the window. Not like the window itself, but I guess so. I didn't really see it, but he ran into the window area, and it like exploded. And it's an older house, and you know how they're kind of crafted a little bit more intricately. So it took me a while to get to work on the window, but eventually I was able to get in and take it piece by piece apart and fix the window. Well, while I was in the inside of it, there's a weight that's attached to the sash cord, and the cord that's hanging in there. Well, this is an old house from, I think it was 1941, and the weight was hanging there, right? But the cord it was supposed to be attached to, it broke, but the weight never fell. I just reached out and I grabbed the weight, like it floated there, it hovered there. And there was a lot of things going on. So for me to explain my mental state and picking things up at the point in time would be difficult. But so the weight that was inside of the window that was supposed to counterbalance to help open and close it, it wasn't attached to the sash cord, the thing that would have helped counterbalance it. It was actually just hovering in the window frame, window box. I don't have the correct term for it right now. I picked it up, and I could sense there was actually a weird emanating something from it. Well, eventually my grandfather had come over, and he looked in the window. He's like, you got to be careful with those. Those go all the way down. And he's talking, the inside track of it. It goes inside from the 2x4, wherever floor you're on, all the way down or whatever. Just one of those funny, semi-prophetical type things. Careful, those go all the way down. Well, Grandpa, that one sure did. That went all the way down. So there was things like this going on in the home that I didn't know at the time, but God got us out of that home and we're in a new one now. But I'm sharing this in this manner because I want to offer a second pair of eyes on anybody who's experiencing this. And actually, while I was tuning up to go ahead and record this, God had sent a sign. I think there's somebody who's been recently in a car accident where things are starting to add up to you, where you're starting to question if it's more, whatever it is in your home. And God's saying, yeah, there's more. So if you were recently in a car accident, potentially you might even be a Wisconsin resident. And you're watching this and you're going, hey, I think something's going on in my farmhouse or in my house or whatever it is. Reach out to me. I'm more than willing to make the drive. I'm right here in Minnesota. So whatever it is, it wouldn't be too far. But reach out, please. If you have any questions, there's a lot more that occurred in the house. I'd be glad to share any amount of information that I have and more than happy to walk the process or walk the premises with you if you're hoping to have somebody who's been through this to be there for you. Yeah, so that's all I have. I'm going to head off to a Passover party now. So grateful you tuned in. I hope you have a blessed day. Hang in there, whatever it is. God bless you.